Good morning, first grade. Okay, so today we are going to be working on page 397. This is chapter 9, lesson 8, telling time to the hour and half hour. So our big idea, our main question today is how are the minute hand and hour hand different for time to the hour and time to the half hour? So this is the first day that we're going to be working with clocks that have two hands. So it's really important that we remember our shorter hand is the hour hand. That long arrow that touches all the way to the number is the minute hand. So I'm going to draw us a reminder at the top of our page. If you would like to draw this reminder on your page, that is okay. So our long arrow is the minute hand. That short arrow is the hour hand. Okay, you guys, so let's get started. Each clock has an hour hand and a minute hand. Use what you know about the hour hand to write the missing numbers. So let's look at our first example at the top of our page. It is 1 o'clock. We know that it is 1 o'clock because the hour hand is pointing to the 1. When it's 1 o'clock, our hour hand points to the 1 and the minute hand points to the 12. Good job, you guys. Let's look at our second example. It is 1:30. We know that it's 1:30 when that hour hand is between the 1 and the 2. The minute hand points to the 6 when it is 1/2 an hour. During this recording, feel free to pause and play the video as needed. Let's look at our next page. At the top, it says, an hour has 60 minutes. So how many minutes are in an hour? 60, great job. If you look, there's 5 minutes between every two numbers. So you could count 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60. And then a new hour begins. So the clock shows 10 o'clock. So we are going to go ahead and trace that time, 10 o'clock. A half hour has 30 minutes. 30 minutes is half of 60. So we could count and say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And that's why when it's 1/2 an hour, our minute hand is always going to be pointing at the 6. So the clock shows 10:30. That means it is 10:30. The minute hand has moved from the 12 to the 6 because it's 30 minutes after 10 or 10:30 o'clock. Okay, you guys, let's look down at number 1. We see that our minute hand is pointing to the 6. So we know that it's going to be 1/2 an hour. But what hour is it 1/2? 11. So if it's 11:30, that means it is 11:30. Let's look at number 2. We see that that minute hand is at the 6, which means it's 1/2 the hour. But what hour is it 1/2? Our hour hand is between the numbers 12 and 1. It's 12:30, which means it is 12:30. Let's look at number 3. I see that our minute hand is on the 12. So that means we are talking about an exact hour. Our hour hand is pointing straight at the number 4, which means it is 4 o'clock. Great job, you guys. Let's look at our last page for some practice. Write the time. So look at number 4. We see that our minute hand is pointing at the 6, which means it's half past the hour. Great job. So to see what time it is, we're going to look at our hour hand now. Our hour hand is between the 7 and the 8, which shows us it is half past 7 or 7:30. Yesterday we practiced writing the times, the words half past 7, but today we're practicing writing the time, 7:30. Let's look at number 5. I see that my minute hand is pointing directly at the number 12, so that means we're going to be talking about an hour. We're going to be telling time to the hour here. Our hour hand is pointing straight at the number 9. That means it is 9 o'clock. Great job, friends. And just a quick vocabulary tidbit. We have 2 different clocks here. This is called an analog clock. This is called a digital clock. In our classrooms here at school, we have analog clocks, but a lot of my friends usually have digital clocks at home. I know I have several digital clocks at home. Let's look at number 6. I'm going to look at my minute hand. My minute hand tells me if we're going to be counting and telling time to the hour or the half hour. When our minute hand points to the 6, we'll be counting to the half hour. Now let's look at our hour hand. Our hour hand is not pointing directly at a number. It's between 2 numbers. Our hour hand is pointing between 8 and 9, which means it is half past 8 or 8:30. Oh goodness, my zeros look kind of funny today. Let's look at number 7. Going to check out my minute hand again. I see that it's pointing at the 6, so I'm going to be telling time to the half hour. Our hour hand is pointing between the numbers 3 and 4, which means it's half past 3 or 3:30. Great job, guys. Let's look at number 8. My minute hand is pointing directly at the number 12, which means I'm going to be telling time to the hour. To see what hour, let's check out our hour hand, and it's pointing directly at that number 2, which means it is 2 o'clock. Number 9. This one looks kind of tricky, but I still know which is the hour hand and which is the minute hand. If you remember, the hour hand stops. It doesn't touch the number. The minute hand goes all the way up to that number and makes sure it touches it. So our hour hand is pointing to the 6 and our minute hand is pointing to the 12. When our minute hand is pointing to the 12, that means we're going to be telling time to the hour. So this is 6 o'clock. I'm sure you guys already knew that. Let's look at number 10. Sarah goes to the park when both the hour hand and the minute hand point to the 12. What time does Sarah go to the park? 1 o'clock, 12 o'clock, or 12:30? We know that both the hour hand and the minute hand point to the 12. The hour hand pointing to the 12 means that it will be 12, If the minute hand is pointing to the 12, that means we're telling time to the hour. So she goes to the park at 12 o'clock. If the minute hand was pointing at the 6, she would go to the park at 12:30. Let's look at number 11. Mel goes to the park at 3 o'clock. He stays for 2 hours. What time does Mel leave the park? So he goes to the park at 3 o'clock and he stays for 2 hours. So that means that our minute hand would go around the clock once, twice, and during that time, you would see our hour hand go from 3 to 4 and then 4 to 5. So he will leave the park at 5 o'clock. Great job listening, you guys. I'll see you later.